For over a decade, we've been perfecting the perfect length, fit, and feel of shorts. Our shorts make every weekday feel like the weekend. Chubbies, proper length men's shorts. Use code AUDIO15 for 15% off your first purchase.
Absolute favorite place to shop in downtown Newnan is Greenhouse Mercantile on East Washington Street. This aesthetically pleasing lifestyle store features a collection of goods from local artists, Black-owned businesses, and fair trade products. The owner, Kenya, also offers services to curate your wardrobe and make your home a sanctuary with interior design. Next time you're in downtown Newnan, be sure to stop by Greenhouse Mercantile. Open Wednesday through Saturday until 4 p.m.
If you think or know you had COVID-19, you can be around others after 10 days since symptoms first appeared, and after 24 hours with no fever without fever-reducing medication, and after other symptoms have improved. If you have tested positive for COVID-19 and you had no symptoms, you can be around others 10 days after you got tested for COVID-19. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Welcome to Connecting Hearts. Connecting hearts of women to resources, information, and to one another. Presented by Creative Heart Studios, 18 Perry Street and Newnan. Now here's your host, Margie Conway.
Hello, I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited. We have just moved to this new company, and we are located at 560 Newnan Crossing Bypass in Newnan next to Art and Jake's, and we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies, and we also have some great products for the VA. We can do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs and products, and we would love to see you. I will be telling you more about our company next week.
Hi, this is Margie. I am the Joy Coordinator at Creative Heart Studios, and this is the Connecting Hearts Network program. We are excited for some things that's coming up, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them at the very end of it, but we're ramping a few things up now that summer is hit and vacations are settling down a little bit. So we have some big events coming up, and one or two that at Happy Life that we're hosting that we really want to get more into. But today we're going to jump into talking with our guest. It is Amy Killingsworth. Hi, Amy. I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah. Hey, Margie. I'm glad to be here.
Amy has had quite a journey. I've known her for several years through our doTERRA oil team that we're on. And I've been able to watch her and see what a great instructor she is. So one day she reached out and said, I think I need to do this Bible study. And I'm like, I think you need to do it here at the studio. And so for the last several months, we've been doing Bible study on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it's been great.
Amy's facilitating it.
Yeah, we've enjoyed that. We've done Victory Over the Darkness. We've done Armor of God, and we're about to start Fervent.
Both Armor of God and Fervent Priscilla Shire studies. Yeah. And they are great ones. I've already learned so much.
Yeah, those have been great. Because that starts next week.
It does, on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested.
Next week's going to be a big week. I told you, we got all kinds of stuff coming up next week. Amy is a great oil team leader. She is a very good Bible study facilitator. I know she's gone through training from Christian Families Today that I've gone through, and one day we're going to get on here and talk about that. Yep. But today we're talking about Amy's newest venture. You want to tell us about your newest venture?
Yeah, and it's totally a God direction kind of thing. This was not something I ever saw myself doing, but so my husband and I now are realtors, real estate agents, and gosh, where are we at? 2022. 2 years ago, at this point, I don't know if we would have ever seen ourselves here. As many people with 2020, life was just crazy. And so my husband worked with Delta Airlines. He had been with them for 32 years. And so when 2020 hit, he qualified for the early retirement. And we went back and forth and prayed. And he's like, we just had a peace. This is what we need to do. And a friend of ours actually encouraged him to consider real estate. And so he got into the business I guess about a year and a half ago, however long that was after he did all his tests and everything. And so for the past year, I've been able to watch him and just kind of see the whole industry. And it is another way just to serve.
Right.
My husband, Todd, he loves to serve. He loves to help. And so this is kind of right up his alley with his heart. And so anyway, so I was in a business, a nonprofit ministry. I've been there off and on for about 20 years, Wellspring Living, an amazing organization. Maybe we'll talk about that another time as well. But I just felt the Lord asking me to leave that in early 2021, and I actually really thought I'd be going a different direction when I left there. But this past February, it was just one of those things. Todd and I were talking, and he had always joked around. He's like, Amy, you just need to get your real estate license. I was like, you do that. I'll support you. I'll cheer you on. But the more I learned, the more I was like, this could be fun. And I realized because I didn't have my license, there were things I couldn't help him with. And so in February this past year, I was like, I'm going to do it. I remember sitting on the couch with him one night, like I had the button ready to go, like, am I going to do my license? Am I going to do the test and the study or not? And we just, let's do it. Okay, so hit the button. We're in this now. Okay. And so that started, I thankfully, I just had a season of a couple months where I really didn't have a whole lot on my plate, and I was able just to really dive into getting the study part done, because it's a daunting task. Like, for those of you guys, who have pursued this, y'all understand. So really you need a mindset of, you're ready to study, you're ready to dive in. So I did that, got my license in May, and so I'm brand new. I'm fresh. I'm green. And so I just want people to know, like, yes, I am not years of expertise, but there are some things that I really wanted to share around that.
Well, I've noticed you do have a big heart for sharing, and I've seen that in Todd, too. You like to serve people and find ways that you can help them. So we've discussed this is another avenue for you to be able to do that. Yeah. I know that is a big task. I mean, the house we're in, we've been in for 30-something years. But for new home buyers, it's like my son just went to buy a condo up in Atlanta, and so I've been through the process with him. And my daughter is building a house down in Pine Mountain, so we're going through it on that end. So it is a big deal to a lot of people. Yeah. It can be scary. It can be, kind of daunting for them to be able to come talk to a realtor when they don't really know what goes on. Yeah. There's such a push on the internet for everybody to do it yourself. But they're just like one of the reasons I do my program here through the radio and then turn it into a podcast instead of just filming my own podcast is because there is the reputation, the accountability, and all the other things that you need. So why don't you tell us some of the tips that you have for home buying? Yeah, and I will start, like, at the end of the day, you've got to do what you're comfortable with. Right. It's got to feel good for you. And so these were things. So as I started studying and getting my license and watching Todd and watching other agents work, there were just some things that I learned that I'm like, I think everybody needs to know this. The general public needs to know this. So kind of we'll talk a little bit about that. And really, you first start, you really just want to find an agent that you trust. And so you may have friends and family that have someone they want to recommend to you, like, because they've worked with them. And so having someone that you trust is going to be really important. And with Todd and I, like, we want to work with integrity and honesty, and that's just who we are. We just want to do things right for people. And I would say the majority of real estate agents out there, that's their heart. They want to do it right. And so definitely just find someone you're comfortable with that you feel like you can trust. But then also something I learned, I had no clue, and probably maybe the majority of the public knows this, and I'm the one who's last to come on board. But I had no idea that there was a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. I thought it just depended on what title they wanted to go for with that day, and so I'm learning, or have learned, so a realtor is someone who has gotten their real estate license. They've done the test, they've passed the test, but now they've actually onboarded with a national association, which requires an extra code of ethics training. Right. There's more standards you're held to with the public, with your clients, with other brokers.
I just had no idea. And the reason this association even exists is it actually started in early 1900s. It was just a way to regulate the industry, because anyone could get their license and then kind of, I mean, they shouldn't do whatever they want to do, but
Right.
you got to do whatever they do.
And that's true. There are those out there.
So this just holds real estate agents to a higher standard. And so if you're looking for a real estate agent, like, find one that actually is a realtor. Just especially if you don't know the person. I like connecting through networking and people you know and you trust. But if you just don't have that option, at least look for the realtor when you're looking for a real estate agent. I think that'd be great. There's actually 17 standards that we're held to on top of things. And honestly, they're not really anything different that, like I said, a real estate agent should be doing anyway. It's just they're just held to a higher.
Sometimes in society today, things have to be spelled out for people to know that it's accountability. Yeah. And that's good, because accountability is important for us to have. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. And then, so the other thing that I've learned, and this has just been as I've got to shadow and work with other agents and with Todd, there's this thing that real estate agents or realtors will ask their customers to sign if they're interested in buying a home, called a BBA, or a buyer's brokerage agreement. And I will be honest, like, before knowing all of this, I'd be like, I don't want to sign anything with you. I'm just wanting to look for houses. I don't even know yet if I want to move. I'm trying to figure all this out. Why would I want to sign anything? So in learning this, what this is, so like I said, so if you are just, if we do not have an agreement signed, and you come to me and you're just like, Amy, I just, I'm interested in buying a house, what I do, like, I'm obligated, to be honest with you, to, have that integrity. I'm obligated to tell you any defects with the property you're looking at, and think, like, just that is just part of that fiduciary relationship. But once I sign a BBA, or you sign a BBA with me, and we're in that agreement, I'm now legally, it opens up the ability to even talk about more with you, and the more in depth on the transactions and the options and so much more. So it's really a protection, and you kind of move from customer status to client status, and it's a protection for you. There's no obligation that you're going to buy this house. It's, hey, I'm interested. I want to work with you as my agent. I want to be in this agreement so that you, as my agent, can legally have the grounds to disclose whatever it is it's going to help me in my best interest for my pursuit. So that's something that has been interesting as we've gone through this. I just meet a lot of people, I don't want to sign anything. And then once you actually explain what that is, they're like, oh, okay, sign it. It's just better for both of us. It's a better working relationship, and it just brings more to the table for the buyer in the buyer's best interest. Okay. And so if you have a real estate agent and they're asking you about signing a BBA, like, it's a great thing. I just want you to know that it's not a scary thing. So yeah, I think that's important for people to know.
Yes.
And then I think there's, in today's market, and Margie, I told you this, like, I don't really want to go into the market. For all of you guys out there, we all know, like, the housing market right now, there's just so many opinions in different ways, and opinions that are stronger than others. So we won't really dive into that. If anybody has questions on that, I'd be happy to talk with them one-on-one. But in today's market, as a buyer, something that's going to be very helpful to do when you're starting the process is go ahead and get pre-approved. Find out what you actually can afford and can't afford. As we know, things are going quickly. Like, when something goes on the market, like, things are slowly shifting, but kind of what it's been is something lands on the market, and it could very well be gone in 2 days.
That's true, the way it goes.
If you've got to wait to find out what you can and can't afford, you may have lost that opportunity. And we've seen people do that. They're like, oh, I want that one. And then by the time they can put an offer down for what they can afford, it's already under contract.
Right. I know my son went through that in Atlanta quite often.
Yeah.
It took a little while.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It is frustrating. And especially, if you're out, like, your first time and you're looking to buy a home, you want it to be everything your dream says at that point. And when you find that and then you lose it because of that kind of technicality, that is bad.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt you to get pre-approved. And there's plenty of lenders that, especially here in Newnan, that we can refer you to. But find a lender and just find out, what you're approved to. And then another kind of thing that's we've seen really help people is not just getting pre-approved, but going ahead and doing the underwriting and getting the loan secure, so that you see this house, you're like, this is it. Like you said, this is my dream house. This is it. This is the one we've been waiting for in the market. And you can come in and say, hey, we've been pre-approved. We already have the loan secured. Like, we can do this quick. It's going to help shorten the length of the closing. And while some sellers, that may not be a factor, for some who are moving and need a more of a feel of a security in the time frame it's going to take, knowing that that process is already taken care of and it can diminish that, could be something that would be in your favor when your offer crosses their table. They're looking at that and they go, oh, this person already has all this taken care of, so that can maybe shorten the closing process for a week or who knows what. So that is something that some people are starting to do that is helpful, and that's something we encourage some of our buyers to do especially if they keep finding these homes that are just like are gone in a moment.
Right. And that's something I didn't know was an option, is that they could do the loan processing up into the point of the actual buying. I know you were talking about lenders. I know next week you're having lunch with Pina Payne, who is one of our sponsors. She's a great lender, y'all. That's who we've used for every refinance we've had. And then we have a lady named Emily Webb, who is a real estate closing lawyer, who I guess would do the type of loan certification or whatever it was you were saying.
Well, the lenders will do the pre-approval and the securing the loan. Lawyers are more on the end of the contract and the closing.
Well, and one thing, when we start our tea talks, I want to get the three of you to sit down and let's get people to send us some questions and let the three of you answer the questions and see it. I was just now thinking, I ought to have put out on Facebook, and we may try this on a future thing. I ought to have put on Facebook, send us your questions now and let's ask them live. So we might try that in another broadcast that we do. So on all of this process that you've done, I know for a fact that Amy is a great mentor. She's a great team leader in business. I've seen that in doTERRA. She's kind of on our sister team around here. And so I've seen what she can do and teach classes there. And I noticed, when we were talking, you said something about if people are thinking about preparing for the test, and then if they're interested in selling real estate and joining your team. Tell us a little bit about what
that process?
Yeah, the process of starting to think about it, to taking the test, to joining a team. And
if you're thinking about it, Todd and I both would be open to talking with you. You may have a real estate agent friend that you want to talk with. Just find out more about it. Do some research and talk to people. I know I have access to 25% off coupon, I guess is what you'd call it, for a real estate class to get your license. So if that's something you're interested in, I can definitely send you the link for that. But you want to get a class. And so with the class, there's actually different options. So I did the online self-pace. They also have an online group. And so it's kind of like Zoom. You go and there's a time you have to show up and whatnot. And then they have in-person classes. I wanted self-paced, and online was just easier, and so that's what I chose. But just know that there's options, and there's some people who are like, I can't just sit on a computer all day. Like, I need to see people. I need to be able to ask my questions and things like that. So, so just getting that part under your belt, and once you get your license, the brokerage we're with, we love. They provide a mentor program. They provide training. Just really accessible. We're brokers with eXp Realty, and have just loved the experience with them. And so so there is support, there's mentoring, there's training, there's different tools that are available to you through the eXp. So like we have a team. Our team is Killingsworth Realty. So if that is something you're interested in, we'd love to talk to you. But like I said, you may have someone else that is your real estate bud, and we want to encourage you to connect with them. But if there's ever any questions, we do provide. So right now, I told you, I'm brand new.
Right.
I've been doing this a month.
Right.
So I have a mentor right now that works with me, and she's great, and so she's helping me just kind of navigate some of the real estate world. And then Todd, has the same process. but I'm hoping one day, like, I would love to be able to do that with others once I kind of graduate, I guess is the word.
Get your feet just a little bit firmer on the ground in this world.
Right. But one of my, I guess, passions, sounds so strong to say that, but I love helping people start businesses. I love helping people launch. Like, a lot of if you were to look at my work history, I'm either helping someone launch their company or launch a program, or in the past 7 years, launching my own businesses. And so I just really love that whole, sometimes it can be messy. I just love that whole journey. So...
Yeah, that's a big one, and I was glad when Amy got involved with things we're doing at the studio, because we are trying to build up a connection of women around our area and that can come online and help you also, that, you know, are trustworthy, are proven mentors, and know a little bit about several different things, so it works well. We have a website that's going to be going live next week for the Connecting Hearts Network, and on that we have several pages that different people can have, so we can set up, you know, the real estate page or things like that, and that way we can add information to it. But we are going to add all these links and things that we were talking to at the end when we start circulating everything, so you can find it. But I want to switch gears just a little bit now, and you're like, oh no, what is she doing to me? You've had a very busy year since January, where you really didn't think you had so much on your plate. All of a sudden, you are taking care of your successful oil business. You have several teenage boys in your home. You have a husband launching a new business. You go to get your real estate license. So what do you do for self-care to take care of yourself?
That's a good question. So my main thing is I have had to start making sure I get up before the rest of my home, because it's just we were talking earlier, like, there's just no real, like, alone time in this season. So getting up before everybody, and I love journaling. I love prayer. I gotta get in the Word. That's just how I have to start my day. And especially with the last Bible study we just did, the armor of God. Oh my gosh, it's just giving me a whole new tool set to start my day with.
Oh, I love it. And that's one thing I didn't leave off her to-do list. With all those other roles, she's also taken on the role of the Bible study facilitator. So
it's been great. But I mean, that kind of keeps me sane, to know, you know, what is the Spirit talking to me about today? There's a verse that He may bring to my mind, like, that's what I end up needing later that day. Like, He's kind of my sanity there. I also love to go on walks. And sometimes my husband and I, we love to go to Peachtree City and take a walk, you know, on the paths or just around the neighborhood. Like, that's how I get outside. Although it's getting so hot. Like, now it's either like early morning or like after 8:30 at night.
Right.
So it's just crazy. But that's been kind of those two things. My husband and I, we've started this thing the past couple of months where we try a new place, ideally a locally owned restaurant, like every Friday. So we've been kind of making our rounds and stuff like that. And so that's been fun, just because I like new experiences. I love to travel, just not traveling lately.
Yeah.
But so right now my travel is to new restaurants. As far as extravagant as I get.
It can be an around the world experience.
Yes. Yeah. So that's been fun, and just coming out here to the square, just getting out back into the community has been a huge thing for me, because after feeling pent up for the past 2 years, just getting outside of my neighborhood and seeing people and seeing life in groups gather has been very therapeutic. So
I know, and even for this person who's an introvert and craves her alone time, I'm also craving being with people and before people and teaching. It's like doing everything online. Before all this hit, I was like the tech person in my group. I was the one that knew all these things and did all these things and started websites before anybody even thought about it. And now I'm like, I want to see people. I want to be with a group of people and talk.
Right.
So those are good practices. I know that we do have our Bible study starting next Wednesday at 1:00. If you get this before then, or even right after it starts, and you're interested, you can reach out to myself or Amy, and we'll have links on the pages. Next Monday, I'm going to be on the Purple Power panel. Our friend Holly named it that. And, purple is the color for domestic violence. And, she's very proactive with that community, and I work to be active in that community. So we have the Purple Power Panel. We're going to answer questions. We're going to educate a little bit about boundaries and about healing processes and about protecting yourself from getting there in the first place. And it is free. So you can sign up and come to that. On Tuesday at Happy Life, God's Garden Girl, who just started her show a couple of Mondays ago, Tanisha is going to be at Happy Life, and we're going to have a tea party. We've been wanting to do that, and we've had to put it off once or twice. This week, we're going for it this next Tuesday. She is going to educate us on a few herbs, and then you get to blend your own teas. And
Nice.
So we're going to have the whole high noon tea set up with scones and all that stuff. Yes, I'm buying them. I'm not cooking them. And you can do that, and links to that will also be on all our social media. If people need to find you, Amy, where can they find you at?
Yeah, actually, Facebook, Instagram, web, we're Killingsworth Realty.
Okay.
So, simple, straightforward. all three
Make
of those.
it easy on us.
Yeah.
That's good. I
Yeah.
like easy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. And like I said, we already know we want to talk Wellspring and we want to talk Christian families. And I'm
Yeah.
sure we're going to talk more real estate as time goes on.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me today. It's been great.
All right. If you want to find me, walk up and down Perry Street and open those doors and yell Margie. Now, this week, Dana would say she's not here because my husband had surgery. Next week, I can't wait to get back in the room. So I'll see you next week when you come by. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Connecting Hearts of Women to Resources, Information, and to One Another. Presented by Creative Heart Studios, 18 Perry Street, here in Newnan. 404-528-8461. Until next time, have a wonderful day.
Hello, I'm Pina.
Just when I finish my to-do list,
We need more chips, Mom.
Honey, I need a lot of chicken.
something else comes up. That's when I use Instacart to help get everything we need from BJ's Wholesale Club delivered right to our door in as fast as 1 hour. And then finally I can relax.
Mom, I think we're out of toilet paper.
Time for another BJ's order. Download the Instacart app or visit instacart.com to get $10 off your first order using the code BJ's Wholesale 10. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $35. Additional terms apply.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino online.
I was only playing for fun, so winning was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's favorite free online social casino. You too could have the chance to win life-changing cash prizes. Absolutely anybody could be like Mary. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and play for free now. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of the winner.